The shots just kept coming.
It is the deadliest mass shooting in American history, and now more details have emerged from those who survived the massacre in Las Vegas, describing a scene of panic and horror as they ran for safety.
Everybody's running and screaming, and I mean, there's people like trampling people.
And you're out in the open in the middle of the field, like there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide.
One couple describes the scene of the shooting as a war zone. They only made it out without injuries by moving when the shooter reloaded. Tonight, the nation's struggling to come to grips with what happened. Good evening to you. I'm Deidre Dukes.
Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Haynes. 59 people died and more than 500 others were injured when Stephen Paddock opened fire on a country music festival from inside the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Just minutes ago, we've learned that police have identified all but 3 of those killed. Police still don't know the motive behind the mass shooting. The scene on the Mandalay Bay grounds is still a very active one. Vegas officers and the FBI searched the area. The FBI is using its best technology to document that scene. They're also analyzing his computer and his cell phone, trying to interview his longtime girlfriend. They're looking for any clues to explain this horrible crime.
And we continue to hear stories of horror as people ran for their lives when the bullets started flying. Dozens killed, several hundred wounded in the deadly rampage.
He's shot in the stomach, and his buddies are on top of him trying to revive him. And they're crying, they're panicking, the people are screaming, they're behind a wall.
But out of the tragedy, some amazing stories of people rushing to help those who had been shot. Many people's lives were saved by the quick actions of perfect strangers.
Some of those were off-duty firefighters who just happened to be at the concert. Fox 5's Good Day Atlanta anchor Sharon Lawson joining us live from Las Vegas with one of their stories. Sharon.
Deidre and Tom, you know, we're hearing a lot of those stories today, and it's really refreshing, at least, especially because of all the pain that everyone is going through. We're on the south side of the strip where this massacre took place, and if you take a look behind me, you can see the Mandalay Bay Hotel, and if you look right up there, the 32nd floor, that's the window that Steve Paddock broke through so he could take aim at the thousands of concert goers who came out Sunday night. Among those in the crowd, 12 off-duty firefighters from Nevada, South California, and northern Arizona. Anthony Robani was one of those, and he was out for a night of fun with his girlfriend and brother when the bullets began to rain down. His brother was struck, so he went to his aid and then the aid of the rest of the wounded.
That's when I heard my brother say I got hit. So at that point I turned around and I saw my brother spitting up blood. We placed my brother on the curb. I opened his shirt up and he had a bullet hole wound right here, probably in between about the second intercostal space in the midclavicular area. So with that and the spitting up blood, we were worried about hemo, pneumo, all of that good stuff. So William Teflon and I, we took the plastic from the Band-Aids and we placed it over the wound. We took 3 Band-Aids and we put it on the 3 sides and tried to make a 3-sided occlusive dressing to the best of our abilities. I placed my brother on one of the first ambulances I could because he was critical at that point. We started triaging, we started pulling things off of ambulances, started trying to treat patients in the streets the best that we could while we were waiting for more ambulances to arrive. I can't stress enough how awesome the people of this concert were, whether it was the off-duty cops, firemen, nurses, doctors. I mean, there were people with no medical training that were taking off their belts and making tourniquets and putting pressure on people's wounds that they didn't even know.
And Anthony, one of many who were really just heroes Sunday night. He also talked about seeing some other people who were injured, shot in the arm, and volunteered for the medical personnel to let them be and help others who are more seriously hurt to take them to the hospital to receive aid. So that's the stories that we're hearing, and it's just really refreshing, as I said before, to see how we saw the worst of humanity, and then on top of that, we saw the best of humanity with everybody coming forth to help out in this time of need. As for Anthony's brother, he is in the hospital recovering. Deidre, Tom.
Sharon, it's just terrific to have you there with local perspective for us. And amid those stories of heroism and bravery, what are you finding as you walk around the Vegas Strip, normally a place of excitement and joy and fantasy, if you will? There must be an extreme sense of sadness there.
You're absolutely right, Tom. You know, I was talking about that all morning long, that this is that place that you come to where there's so much excitement. You know, it's Sin City, but really Sin City turned into hell on earth on Sunday night. But what we're also noticing, too, that among all that sadness, there is this sense of resolve that they will get stronger out of all of this face of anger and of violence, I should say, and that they will be stronger because of really just uniting together in the face of it.
Now coming together during this very difficult time. Sharon Lawson covering this tragedy for us live out in Las Vegas tonight. Thank you, Sharon. We'll see you at 6.
And we're learning more information meantime about the shooter Stephen Paddock, but so far nothing's pointed to a motive. He was retired and known as a professional gambler, but he worked as a letter carrier and an IRS agent in the 1970s and 80s.
Some police say Paddock had 23 guns in his hotel room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino. And we've just learned he put a camera in a food service cart outside his hotel room. He brought them in 10 suitcases. Officials say he had 2 devices known as bump stocks that made his guns fire a number of bullets in rapid succession.
Fox 5's Morris Diggs joins us now live with a closer look at bump stocks and what they can actually do. Morris?
Well, if you're not well versed in weapons, you may never have heard of this term called the bump stock, or at the gun store, it's called a slide rifle. What this attachment can do is increase the rate at which you can fire rifle rounds. These are rifle rounds, the type that proved so devastating in the mass killings in Nevada. According to the authorities, the gunman retrofitted at least some of his arsenal with an accessory called a slide rifle or bump stock. Are these popular?
They are. With being in the media, people are calling, looking for them, but we have one available.
It cost under $300, or at least that was the price before the Las Vegas incident, and it requires nothing special to make the purchase. The accessory accelerates how fast a weapon can fire.
It takes the place of the stock and the pistol grip, and so once that's on, it uses the recoil spring of when it's going back and forth to fire. So when you fire the weapon and the recoil goes back and comes back, it's going to hit your finger again. So it's going to fire every time.
Imagine, with the attachment, a person can fire several hundred rounds a minute if it is put on correctly.
For recreational, people like to shoot a lot of ammo, and it's fun to them. Not everybody uses it for the wrong reason.
Now, there have been some reports out there that this bump stock can turn a rifle into a fully automatic weapon. That is not the case unless that person makes further changes that by federal law would be illegal. Reporting live outside at Adventure Outdoors Gun Store, I'm here in Cobb County. Back to you.
Mo, thank you. Well, the tragedy in Las Vegas continues to touch hearts of Americans everywhere. Today, we spoke with a number of people from Las Vegas who are now in Atlanta. Well, one woman got emotional as she talked with us about the deadly shooting and its impact.
It breaks your heart to see it, you know, and to see it on the news is one thing because you detach from it, because you see so much on the news that's so sad. But when you're there and you feel that in the air and you see the people and they're real people, you know, all of this fussing and fighting everybody's got going on, you know, these are just people, you know, we're all people. And
well, she also told Fox 5 that there are still long lines of people who want to donate blood. As we've seen, many of those folks are staying as long as it takes. Well, we have continuing coverage of the Las Vegas massacre throughout the newscast tonight. And remember, you can get updates anytime on fox5atlanta.com and our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page. Tom?
Well,